Hello and welcome to the February Dye-a-Thon. Things look a little bit different. I'm actually in my seat, and we're going to have Brittany, who is the other person on the screen, from Ugly Hand Dyes, actually dye a disc this time. So I kind of get a break, and I get to sit and critique and give advice that probably is very bad advice. But yeah, hi Brittany.
Hi.
Thanks for
Yeah,
doing
be
this.
fun.
So the theme for this month, since it is February, is Valentine's Day. Valentine's, love. So the theme is love is in the air. You get it, love, air, discs. Anyways, um, and Brittany came up with this very cool design, which is
A pity.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought puppy love's the best love.
That is very, very true. So where did you get the design from? Or
So
how'd
I
you pick it?
basically I was like searching and sometimes it's hard to find black lines. So I found a picture that I liked, but it wasn't black lines. So I just kind of traced and adapted it to my own what I wanted on like a drawing tablet and made it my own.
How long
Yeah.
did it take you to trace it?
Probably hour and a half, something like that.
Not
I'm
bad.
still I'm still kinda new to this drawing tablet, so I'm still figuring out the deets, but turned out pretty cool, I think.
What specific tablet did you use?
Oh, don't ask me technical questions, Dave. That's not what we're here for. We're here for art.
Okay, it's then it's not an iPad.
I think it's a Samsung,
Oh,
and
whatever.
the program is like Ibis or something like that. So it's
Gotcha.
on there. Yeah, you just need black lines, though. Don't
Yeah.
need anything too fancy.
No, you did a good job even in the, lower jowls.
There you gotta get the jowls right.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and, like, pre-weeded a lot of this, so that this whole video wasn't just me weeding, and I did the background too because I wanted a really simple background. I didn't wanna just sit here and draw blue for you guys.
Can
I don't know if you can
you
see, I did a little texture on the blue. Can't really tell.
can you explain how you did the, stencil coloring and background?
Yeah, I I use the denatured alcohol method for the black. Um, so yeah, just stencil and then weed and then take the, denatured alcohol and zoop, zoop, zoop it.
It's just that easy. So, you use clear vinyl. Is the parts that are kinda grayish still
Gray?
okay.
Yeah, that's from that b when you go over it with the black,
Yeah.
it gets a little gray.
I was gonna say, it kinda looks cool that way with the
Mhm.
glasses.
It does.
Nice. Alright, well, do your thing.
Cool. I'm sorry that my angle is gonna be a little weird for you guys, but I when I dye, I move it around a ton anyways, so it's really not gonna matter that much. I'm gonna be using denatured alcohol for everything except for I'll use acetone for rinsing my brushes. I don't know what made me start doing it that way. That's just I think because I did spin dyes that way, I've just always used it, and it doesn't seem to hurt the brushes, and they're nothing fancy. So that's just what I do. Think you could use I think what you use ISO?
To clean the brushes?
Mhm.
That's what it's whatever I got.
Yeah, exactly. I just have acetone, and that's just what I use. I've never done it any other way. I do notice a lot of times, like, dye will get on this part of the brush, and it's good to clean that off every now and then. I'm going to make him, like, just really colorful, not realistic at all. Um, and when I do colorful stuff I guess I always do colorful stuff. I tend to start with yellow whenever I can because that color, you need, like, the cleanest rinse water or rinse acetone
Mm.
for. So, I use that first to keep the rinse cleaner.
How often do you, refresh your rinse?
The rinse cup,
Yeah.
my good ol' I should show you guys, it's the Dyer's Guild shot glass. Um, if it gets really dirty and I'm using lighter colors, I will change it out.
Hmm.
But if I'm using, like, dark that's why I kinda save the darker colors for the last, because then I don't have to dump it out as much. Try to be efficient,
Oh, that yellow is
conscientious.
pretty vibrant on a first lay down.
Yeah, I mixed it up yesterday, but it's lemon zest. Lemon zest is one of my
Oh,
favorites for that reason. It's really aggressive and it's really bright.
did you
And then if
use
you
I was gonna say
lose your disc, you can go find it with the black light.
yes. Did you use the super secret mixture ratio?
No, no, you don't need to for this color.
Gotcha.
Color's thebomb.com no matter what. Mine's like a paste because I just keep adding to it. But the top layer is where I dip it, and that's where it's, like, liquidy.
Huh.
Yeah, I just add a little dye every time and then more DA.
When did
So
you
when
do
I
I was gonna say, when did you do the stencil?
I did it last night. I
Okay.
like to give, 24 hours or so, 12 to 24 hours on a stencil. I think it helps with the black smudgies you get sometimes. So I try to do that, and I gave it another rinse today.
Nice.
And I do try to avoid touching the black as much as possible, because you can get some bleeds and smudges, and I don't like that, especially, like, you'll notice it way more with lemon zest than you will with, say, a purple or something. You can get away with it with a purple, but the yellow I try to keep as pure as possible in every way possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's very easy to get lemon zest muddy and just icky.
Yeah. Yeah, and that just ruins it won't even glow as much or anything, it really ruins it, so I try really hard to keep it, like, clean.
We got Mr. Spintini in here. He said, "Wahoo!"
Wahoo! You gotta say it with some, like, gusto, Dave. He's not saying wahoo.
Wahoo! Xander said, "Poochie," and
Gee.
Hand-Eye Man said, Dog gone, you guys, what a treat."
Oh my gosh, I love the dog puns, that's amazing.
Yes.
So I was gonna kinda do, like, purples and blue or purples and pinks on one side, blues and greens on the other, and then, like, yellow and orange in the middle. My pity has, like, black on the sides and then white right here, so I kinda wanted to do kind of a similar pattern. I might add a little yellow actually to the top where his head is white. I'm probably gonna keep this disc, to be honest. That's why it's like, I wanna do a pity because I just want one anyways.
What disc is this?
It's a drift. I haven't thrown
Oh,
a drift, but I think I'll like it. And I have, like, a case of them. So, if
yeah.
anybody wants a drift, hit me up,
We also have them available on the Dyers Guild website.
or go to the Dyers website. I'm gonna use my own, like, custom pink. It's, wine, cerise, and cherry. I call it Barbie. Probably can't say that. It's, 2 parts wine, 2 parts cerise, and 1 part cherry. Like, gonna go in where I want it a little darker with the pink. Like, where I would put a shadow, I'm just gonna go with pink.
Hmm. So what made you just go with this color palette or this color design?
Hmm, I don't know. I was picturing, like, those kinda watercolor dogs you see a lot where they're just, like, really bright, splotchy there's some of them have, like, some patterns on it.
Mhm.
Kinda thinking like that kinda style, but in my own version.
So
And
you showed me kind of a reference image of how it was gonna be colored.
mhm.
Are you gonna kinda follow that same thing, and why do you like doing that?
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to pick out your color palette ahead of time. Sometimes I wing it, but especially if it's, like, for a client, it's good to do a little mock-up and show them what you're thinking, because it's hard to talk to non-art people about art things sometimes. So it's good to just be like, "Oh, this is what I'm thinking. How do you feel about that?" And get their take on it. It also helps me 'cause sometimes I'm really indecisive and I'm
Mhm,
just like, "Oh, do I wanna do this or this?" And so I'll do both and see which one I like better, and I'm often surprised.
no, I like doing that as well to kinda, "Okay, this is gonna work, this is gonna work," before I actually do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where the yellow meets the pink, it's kinda naturally does an orange, but I'm gonna, like,
Mm.
accentuate that with my own orange. I really like to do a little lemon zest under a creamsicle. It's so bright, it's so nice. It's a good combo. You can see I do a lot of, like, kinda layering.
Mhm. When you do layer the colors like that, do they tend to blend?
Yeah, you got quite a bit of time. Like, this pink's been on here for a good bit of time. I think part of that is that there's, like, that dry residue on top,
Mm,
and that just kinda, like, once you add the wet medium to it, it's like blends the 2 together.
hmm, makes sense.
And for this, I, like, rinse the brush a lot because now I have a little pink on my brush, and I don't wanna get pink in the orange bottle, so it's, like, constant rinsing.
Mm. Dye dude said, "Hey, oh, get it, Brit."
With all the enthusiasm that Dave can muster.
Yeah, I don't read, punctuation.
Like, "Oh, there's 16 exclamation points." I'm just gonna say, "Heyo."
Uh-huh. When I'm still relatively new to the painting, and the hard thing that I find is I can paint it on, but the dye is basically the width of the paintbrush, and there's that hard line between where the dye is and, say, like, the white of a disc. And I think you're going to be coming over to film a video of how to do, um, some blending.
So we're
Nice.
still not quite blended. Right now, I'm just, like, kinda laying the foundation. So because you do have time to work with the DA. So I'm gonna go over the yellow with the yellow again, and I'm gonna pull some of that orange into the yellow for the blendy parts. And some colors are better for that. You kinda just gotta get to know your dye. But, yeah, I do go back and forth a ton. It's like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's not quite blended enough. I need to add I need to go back to this color to blend it more." So it is a lot of time getting to know your dye. And that this is where it's like the rinse is super important because 'cause I'm going back to yellow with a dirty brush.
I I would forget it and, like, "I'm gonna rinse in the dye." Oh, I put it in the dye.
Yeah, you don't wanna that's where, like, palettes are good. If you're bad at that, like, just put a couple drops in a palette. Because
Mm,
if you dirty up your palette, it's not as bad as, like, a whole bottle.
mhm. I thought I mixed up some custom colors in, like, a little metal palette, but it started to dry out and I ran out of that custom
Yeah.
color. Like,
Yeah,
damn
that can be a bummer for sure. Oh, I got a little bit of black bleeding there because I was a little, like, too much dye, so I just gotta, like, hit it right away. Get rid of that. Get rid of that smudge, and kinda use it to your advantage, you know?
Mhm. Mm. Have you ever done, well, like, a freehand one without a stencil? Like, just freehand dye, kinda like what Emily does?
No, like an image? Not
I mean,
really.
I don't just do, like, a Bob Ross scene or something and just
Yeah. I have not. I'm not like I used to be pretty good at drawing, but it's definitely something like you don't use it, you lose it. And I need to like have the time to get back into that to be like confident enough to just do my own thing. I mean, I've done like backgrounds, I freehand a lot of backgrounds.
That dude said, "Love you guys." Bought a swan dive in the sack.
Good night, sir.
Toodles.
We love you too.
Gee off. Hmm. It's cool to see the transformation of the colors.
Yeah, it's probably weird sitting on that side of things.
It's a bit easier,
Mhm.
maybe a little bit less stressful.
See, I feel I feel the other way, like, sitting there and being the talker is stressful. Sitting here doing the art, that's easy. So I go over the pink one more time, and then I'll switch it up a little.
What are you I know you have the, glasses masked off. What are you gonna do for that?
Yeah, I want so a lot of times I save, like, the skinny parts, like the glasses rims, for last,
Mhm.
and I don't have to worry about, like, a color bleeding into it.
But what about the frames, like the actual lens part?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do, like, a bright pink, like this color I'm doing right now,
Mm.
or maybe, like, a more muted pink. Something pinkish, and then I think the lens I'm gonna, like, do, like, transition rainbow all the way up, like, kind of all the colors I'm using, just kind of
Mm.
blendy it up.
Nice. Um, Another thing for having a reference image that you already colored is you know what to color because you actually have time and pay attention to what the stencil is. Because I know if I start going ham with the stencil, I forget areas that were like, oh, that was supposed to be part of, I don't know, an arm or
Yeah,
an
yeah,
eye
I
or something.
wasn't supposed to weed that
Yeah.
kinda thing.
Or,
Yeah, I always have the, like, stencil thing up on my s computer screen, and I fill it with black, makes it a lot easier to
hmm.
know what you're supposed to do.
So how did you get the background texture?
Basically just dabbed a paintbrush.
Right on.
Just like doot, 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 doot. Kinda hit it at different angles so that it's not just all, like, long lines of the bristles
And you had to make that sound when you're doing it too. Toot, 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 toot.
every time,
Okay.
obviously. Alright, going on the purple side.
I noticed it's a bit crusty. Does that ever cause any issues? Like,
Are
but
you saying that?
yeah,
What's crusty?
well, like the caps, like where the
Oh, no.
feel like I would accidentally just open it and spill it everywhere. Like you would just
Oh, I've
get
done
on
that.
get on things where it's not supposed to.
I definitely just spilled black, and I definitely spilled Dark Dungeon on a disc not that long ago. See, I have some of these round bottles.
Well, we do have holders for round bottles
Yeah, I need to get some of those because my finger is all black, spilling black.
as you flip everybody off.
I know, it's the best finger. This is Iris. Iris is really great with DA for, like, a deep dark purple really quickly.
Hmm. There's Prochem colors that I still have not used yet.
Me too.
I
Most of them are colors that I feel like I can make, so I just don't get them. Like, I look at it and go, "Oh, I made that color." I don't need to buy that.
I don't know what it is, but the hot color that seems to be selling is sky blue. Like, that's been flying off the shelves, and I have no idea why.
Huh, I wonder if somebody, like, was like, "Oh, I use sky blue for this," and everybody's like, "Oh, I need that." I do like sky blue.
I never used it.
I don't use it a ton, but I did use it just the other day.
I
It's
think
a good color, though.
that's one of the newer colors.
It is.
Yeah. So it's like I think wineberry and sky blue
Yeah, I got both of those.
in one release, and a while later they released a bunch of other stuff. I mean, they do have 50 colors, so
There are 50 colors.
and we sell every single color.
You can get them at the Dyers Guild website. And if you just wanna try it, you can just get a little sample.
Yeah. I had a sample pack here, but not anymore.
Just kinda going in, like, the wrinkles, like, where I would think a shadow might be. Going in with, like, the darker purple, and then I'll hit it with a lighter purple. Maybe some pink highlights.
And Dye Man said, "Sky blue next to eye dye blue provides great depth."
Yeah, see, that's what's up.
I haven't used any eye dye colors recently. It's just been the main.
Pecan? I
Yeah.
do like the black. I got, like, a case of the packets of the black, so I have, like, a box. I do mix it with other pecan colors to get the black, but I do like theirs a lot.
Yeah. And remember I used black with shaving cream burst, and was it Mr. Red had the same, or just recently brought that up where the black
Yeah,
was literally all the colors,
all the colors.
and when you do it in a shaving cream bed, you can see all the colors, which looks really cool. Just it's not going to be black.
It looked awesome.
Mm.
I haven't done too many shaving cream beds.
Got to get back to your roots.
That wasn't my roots. Lotion beds was my roots.
Well, you got to get back to the Stone Age.
To the the dye world's roots.
And that was Iris.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Iris is so nice.
Procam has like a
Mhm.
billion purple colors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Iris, Orchard, Pansy. Uh, there's more than that.
I think I'm gonna go with I wanna give away our secret. Alright, let's go with lilac.
You don't have to give it away. You can just say it's a super secret mixture.
It's on the bottle.
You can't see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's cut out on there. Alright, I'm gonna go with lilac. I actually mixed this with 70% ISO because that's all I had at the time, like, 2 years ago, and it actually makes, like, a really nice light purple, so I'm just gonna use it, and it's gonna pick up some of that iris and just blend out.
Hmm. Yeah, we were testing out some additives to some dye mixes, and I was actually quite surprised how different our mixes were with the same
Like,
color.
person to person.
It's like I don't understand.
We're trying to figure out what caused such differences, and we got pretty scientific with it.
I mean, I
Like,
re-
"What's your water alkalinity over there?"
yeah, it's it's crazy, but it's also good to know because there's
Yeah,
no one solution that fits everybody. You just gotta try it and see because
yeah,
um, your color may be different when you mix it than somebody else's when you like literally do almost everything the same
yeah.
and don't know why.
Can't figure it out. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know if we'll crack it, but I still think it's worth sharing because some people might reap the benefits.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how I can frame that video.
Yeah, maybe we can compare mine to yours when I come over there.
Yeah. What what if they're, like, the same when you're there? It's just where you're at location.
It's aliens, that's why.
Yeah. Anyways, Pro Chemical has lavender, concord, iris, orchard, pansy, lilac, and neon royal purple. 7 purples.
I don't think I have orchid. I think I have all the other ones. Their purples are good too, and they are a little different from each other.
Yeah. Yeah, Hand Eye Man said, "I'm just working on all my Joanne walk-in purchases of eye-dye colors, slowly working on the PCADs." I mean, feel like a
Definitely
lot of
build that.
I feel like a lot of people start with eye-dye because it is just so accessible because you can,
Yeah.
um but when you do get dye, like the eye dye, make sure you get the poly and not the regular, stuff. Because I had someone reach out saying me like, "Hey, I did this glue bed. I followed your instructions to the T, but like I used 3 colors and these 2 colors didn't take it all." So I had to kind of troubleshoot and figure out, okay, why didn't this happen?
Yeah.
And 2 of the eye dyes were just normal ones and not the poly.
Oh, so the other colors took, just not those ones.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but he said he just randomly grabbed whatever was the cheapest. So
So easy to miss.
yeah, I want to create a video of like, here's the top mistakes that beginners make.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I bet I've done it.
So if you guys
Done
have
those things.
If you guys have ideas, I need ideas so I can make that video. Brittany, just tell me if the ideas and I'll just do it.
I'm actually the man behind the curtain.
Yeah,
We always say you are, but
I'm puppet.
I don't wanna do too much pink on the outer part of the ear because I wanna do the inner ear pink, but I'm gonna add a few little highlights.
You don't have the sky part masked off, do you?
Nope. Just waiting to go into it.
Do your
I got a trick
brushes
for that.
do your brushes ever get that like one little single strand that sticks out farther than everything else and it's just
Yes,
super
they
annoying?
sure do. I cut them.
Ah,
I use, like, the same brush, and I've been using it for a long time, and I'm gonna be really sad when it goes, but I kinda rotate my favorite one, like, once one gets lost or is too frazzled, I'll find a new favorite, and then I'll only use that one.
uh, I was trying to think of a term to describe what I wanted to say, and frazzled fits it, but disheveled, just
Yeah.
not in its same tight core, pattern. It's just kind of all haggard. Oh, I like that one.
Haggard's good, yeah.
Uh, and I Man said, "Love that pastel feel, Brit." Nice.
Thank you.
Justin Stafford said, "I did that with Rit dye. Accidentally bought the regular, not the synthetic."
Yeah.
Hmm.
Go PCAT, you don't gotta worry about it.
Th- That's another thing is don't recommend Rit dye, but it's just another one of those very accessible dyes.
For sure. I
Have
think,
you?
like, Walmart has it.
Yeah. Have you ever used Rit?
I don't think so, but there could be a couple floating around. I don't think so, though. I think we did start with the eye dye, though,
Hmm. I
and
know.
not PCAD.
Was it Gary from Happy Little Accidents? He uses RIT, and I think what color was it? Sandstone that he was using for those beach scenes.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think a lot of people use that one
Yeah,
because
I
I don't
think.
think there's a good tan from PCAD.
Yeah, I think I tried their brown to kind of get that tannish brown color.
Who is brown? Eye-dye?
Rit.
Rit.
We I need to come up with a an acronym for Rit that is kind of, not d- jeez, words not coming to me. Derogatory, but like an acronym that means like don't use Rit because it sucks.
Right.
Uh,
Return if I
Tootie.
don't know.
uh, Michael Larson said, "Got here late. Unfortunately, anyone know what combo of dye slash solvent she is using to paint with?"
I'm using denatured alcohol with PCAD. Colors. This current color is like a custom mix. There's not a good pink for DA that I have. So I just made my own and it works really nicely for what I want it for. I should sell my formula to PCAD and I'm sure that would just make me a millionaire instantly, you know?
Yeah, or we can just sell it.
Yeah. The thing is like not that many people struggle because not that many people are using DA.
So what you're saying is you're a hipster.
No, I'm saying like there wouldn't be that many people who need this who aren't who are struggling with pink because pink works great in lotion and Floetrol and not so much with the DA. I don't know why.
You're just too cool, and you're the only one using DA.
No, there's others. Nothing to do with being cool. I just like to waste my time and take forever on my discs.
Justin says, "Do you mix acetone with your DA?"
Not usually. For blues, I'll add like, I don't know, a teaspoon probably, just to try to get it to be a little more aggressive because the blues can be light. So they take a while to get into the disc. If you look at my discs, you'll see I use a lot of repeat colors because they go on a little faster. So yeah, you can put a little acetone in there, but I don't do too much. That's for sure. Mostly just the blue.
Yeah, Justin, if you are interested, she does have a masterclass video that she goes through her entire process of everything. So yeah,
Start to finish, but then you have to deal with me for like an hour. It's a lot. It's a lot of me, you know?
you can always play it at like 1.5 or 2 times speed. It's fine.
That's true.
Hmm.
Help you get through it.
See, Handyman Dye says Ida has brown as well. Yes, I like to mix a small drop into heavy lemon zest for a nice golden tan. Hmm.
Yeah, like a nice yeah, I have like a golden mix too. Kinda orange. I usually put a little yellow underneath it. I gotta adapt it a little still.
So how's that Guild Gold coming?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right now. It needs a little work. I'll use it all the time. It's really nice, but it's not quite gold.
Mm,
More of an copper, if
mm.
anything.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing is especially coming up with a dry mix of just the powder
Yeah,
and
that can
getting
be replicated.
yes, because like we said earlier, your mixture color can be different on a lot of variables like, the amount of solution to dye ratio makes a big difference of the color. So,
Mhm.
because I know we're trying to work on a skin color and that kind of is a pain in the ass. Ooh.
At the end, I'll, like, go in with, probably, like, Dark Dungeon, and I'll add depth to certain spots. That's kinda like a good way to, like, add shading with any color. You can go over any color with it pretty much. And if it's, like, warm colors, I might do, brown instead.
Mm.
So if I'm, like, adding depth to, like, say, an orange and yellow area, might shade it with a little brown. And this side, I would use, like, the Dark Dungeon.
That's another good tip that I never thought of.
You gotta have your cool shadows, your warm shadows, depends on what you're going for.
It's like you're an artist or something.
Mm. Fake it till you make it, baby. Still waiting.
Yeah.
This is flag blue. Probably has a little drop of acetone in there. I don't know if it's enough to make a difference, but I did do that kind of
Mm.
experimentally because I heard it was good. You can see the flag blue goes on pretty good. The bright blue is pretty light, takes a couple layers.
Mm.
I tend to lean towards the flag blue.
Do you have a sonic blue mixture?
I do. Sonic and Royal, and they all kinda look the same with the DA.
Mm.
So I really just pick one and go with it.
Gotcha. It's kind of like coloring in the lines, and I'm bad at that.
I thought about going, like, watercolor and just, like, adding splotches of color and not following the lines at all. Then I worried about the black, like,
Mm.
bleeding too much. I have to do that in kind of a controlled way, or for backgrounds. You can do it for backgrounds pretty good. That's like, we had one person, I think they did it with lotion, that had submitted in the roundtable review,
Mhm.
and they had that, like, watercolor look. It was really cool, where they didn't follow the lines. You don't
Yeah,
have to follow the lines.
yeah, I think it was the flower one was one of them.
Yeah, it was flowers.
Hand Eye Man said, "I have missed it, but is that a boxer?"
Pitbull, they have similar faces, so they got the jowls and the wrinkles.
I mean,
I
it's
just got a pitty not too long ago, and I just love him. He's so sweet.
it's not a poodle, but it'll do.
I know, I was like, "Dave should do a poodle at the same time I do my pit bull. We can have a dog off."
Let's get die dog off.
Yeah, I mean, your poodles are awesome.
Yeah.
They're
Uh,
very different, they're so different from each other.
yeah. Trying to think. It's hard to do well, I like black poodles, so it's hard to do any artistic thing with a black poodle because they're black. So how do you do
Well, you do this.
well, yeah.
My dog is black and white. I am not doing a black and white dog. You just have fun with it, Dave, fun? You
Yeah, but
ever you
mm,
ever heard of it?
don't know what that is. Um, but Bill from Gingerbread Dyes, he did a commemorative dye for family.
Yeah,
That he did an amazing job on that.
amazing. And you can do colorful backgrounds too if you do want it to be, like, realistic. You just make your image a little bit smaller so you can have lots of bright colors in the background to, like, make it easy to find. But, like, a disc like that, you're gonna probably hang that on the wall.
Yeah. Justin says, "Do you ever wear a mask when doing DA or acetone painting?"
No, this is a pretty big room. Feel like it's pretty well ventilated. I don't even, like, smell it or anything, which might be really bad, or it's because, like, I'm not close enough to it to be inhaling the fumes. I'm gonna tell myself that's the case,
Right.
not that I've completely burned my nostrils.
Someone walks in like, "Oh my god, what is that smell?" It's like, "What smell?"
What smell?
It's like
Yeah,
it's like when you go into someone's house for the first time and it, has a unique smell, but
uh-huh, they
they're
don't
there
smell it.
or when you go on vacation and come back to your house and like, "This is what our
Oh,
house smells
does
like."
it always smell like this? Yeah, it's very true.
Hey, Roxy's in here saying, "Can I pet that dog?"
Not bad that dog. Yes, just come to Wisconsin, it's a small trip away. I cannot recommend airplanes right now, but I
That's-
hear it's a lovely time to drive.
Justin said, "I love big black poodles. They are so smart." Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted when my wife and I got a dog or wanted to get a dog. My requirements was it could not shed and it had to be black. I never thought in a million years I would be a poodle lover, but
A
somehow,
poodle guy.
yeah,
They charm ya, man. I never thought I'd have a pity.
yeah.
I was always like, "Oh, avoid that risk," but he is the sweetest dog I've ever had, and it's all bullshit. Like, pities I don't know how our, I feel like poodles aren't as Velcro dog. You ever heard Velcro dog?
they they can be. Again, I feel
Yeah,
like each dog has their own personality.
for sure. Is the little one more is he is he like he has, like, a favorite person? Because I know he was more shy around me.
Uh the Franc, he likes anybody. He
Yes.
doesn't have any loyalty to anybody.
No loyalty.
Uh Finley, he doesn't really like anybody, but I guess me if he had to pick one.
If he had to pick one, so he's not, like, all over you. He's just
Yeah.
like, "I guess you're here. You feed me, you're fine."
Yeah. Fancy, she was glued to me. Like,
Yeah.
I get up and she's like, "Son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yep. That's Jomez.
Then, our first dog, Subi, he was attached to my wife. Like, if my wife left, he'd be just whining like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
Yeah. The minute I start getting dressed, because honestly, if I'm home, I'm in pajamas, my dog starts looking at me sad, like, "I know you're leaving," and I hate it. My other dog is very independent. He's like, "I'm cool on my
Mhm.
own." The pity, he's like, "You are leaving, you're betraying me. This is a heartbreak. There's no other way to see it."
See, Roxy said, "I just moved my whole dye area near a window because I was getting headaches from the fumes." I feel like I never had any issues with fumes before.
Well, I think some people are definitely more sensitive, and I really think it's about your space too. This is a big room and, like, there's the door is usually open. It's not right now, but I don't know.
Yeah, you just burnt your smelly nostrils.
Yeah, I don't know. And this is also a custom mix of mine. It's like a lime green kinda color. I'll probably add a little yellow over it to really make it bright.
Hmm.
It's, aquatic green and lemon zest. I don't know the ratios.
So, when you created these mixtures, two parts. One, do you remember the ratios? So if you had to recreate it, you could. Two, like, how do you decide what two colors or colors to mix together? Do you just kind of like fuck around and find out?
Yeah, so for the ratios, I made this a long time ago. I have added to it since. Did not write any notes or anything, just, like, made it up. Obviously, like, using the color theory, yellow and blue makes green. This has the formula written on it because I have learned my lesson that sometimes I wanna be able to recreate or not create it again, but it's good to have the information. So I highly recommend taking notes. I, tend to be a little chaotic in the dye room and not be like a note taker because I'm kinda like that in life, and this is like my escape from that, right?
Mhm.
But I have learned, okay, notes are good. I just write it on the bottle.
And if you guys have a custom color or want to see some custom colors, we do have the color vault, which we're trying to grow. So yeah.
I did add a couple to that. So I did add this, pink color that I'm using right now on there, and I added the brown that I made. I made, like, a really rich brown
Mm.
that works really well for DA because I don't love like, the espresso's okay, the chocolate's okay, but I wanted, like, a rich chocolatey brown. So
Mm.
I added that on there too, if anybody ever is looking for those colors. I do get a lot of messages about colors like that, so I've been making sure to add it to that list,
Sweet.
the ones that I know the ratios for, so I can be like, "Hey, yeah." You can look at them here and see other people's too.
Hyrule Heisers says, "Have you noticed a difference when brushing acetone and how long the dye job stays true before the colors migrate and the image starts to go out of focus?" So, how long till it fades? And specifically, he's sort of saying with acetone, but I feel like it doesn't necessarily matter if it's acetone or DA, just any dye. I don't feel like anything fades. I don't feel like any technique fades faster or slower than others.
I think spin dyes go a little faster because I think because 'cause you're not penetrating in as much as long. I don't know. I don't
Uh,
that's but, I mean, Dave has one of mine from 2 years ago? Last year from Christmas,
yeah,
and it still looks pretty good, but it's really about the condition. It's inside, so it's gonna last a lot longer inside, out of the sun, not being used.
yeah,
And if you're, like, in Florida, I imagine it goes really fast because you're in hot, moist environment, and unless you're drying your discs and taking them inside every time, which you should do, they're gonna probably fade faster.
yeah. Like I said, the dye technique in my mind doesn't matter to determine the fade. It's more other factors like heat,
Mhm.
the plastic type.
Yep.
Um, because some plastic type, even though it dyes really well, fades like super super quick.
Yeah.
Um,
Really fast.
mhm,
Um, yeah, I think it is a lot about the conditions. I was worried about that with DA when I first started doing it because I was like, "Oh, it just, like, goes right in. You're not adding heat, you're not cooking it for X amount of time, like, is it gonna fade really fast because of that?" But I haven't noticed that, and I have had people, like, send me pictures, like, a year later of their dye discs, like, "Hey, I aced with that disc," and I'm like, "That still looks pretty good." So, I don't think it's faster. Like, I don't think it fades faster than other techniques.
yeah. So, like I said, the technique doesn't matter, but I, as you found out, depending on the mixture, but different colors can.
Yeah, certain colors can fade faster. Yeah, and those are it's funny because okay, what he's talking about is I used Caribbean blue, which I used on here too, but with a different mixture. The super secret mixture. Um, it was sitting in the sun and it like the other colors stayed, but that color faded out really fast.
Yeah,
Faster th way faster than the others.
that was crazy.
Mhm. But it's a color that I never used because I couldn't get it to go into the disc really fast, but I found a new formula, and I wonder if this is going to last longer because it goes into the disc faster. So I think that's a good sign.
I was gonna say, have you? Well,
That's why I'm keeping this disc, Dave. This is my experiment to find out, and
I,
that's why I use that color for the background.
I would be very, very curious to see.
Yeah, me too.
What's your hypothesis?
I think because it goes in easier, it's gonna stay longer.
Hmm,
'Cause that seems to be the trend for me.
that's what she said.
Yes. Who knows,
Hyrule,
though? We're all just making shit up, really.
pretty much. It's part scientific, but also part intuition. It's like
Yeah.
you have to get familiar with your mediums. You know, it's art. Art isn't scientific, but it
Yeah,
can
I
be.
mean, it's a mix of both. I think that's why I like it so much. Like, I
Mhm,
went to school for science, for biology, and studied it for a couple years, and, I like the combination of, like, it can be very scientific, and it can be very free and artsy. It's kinda what you make it,
mhm.
what you enjoy. You can sit there and measure and chart, and you can Dave it out. Or you can be like, "I don't know, I threw some of this into this, and now it does this."
I Hyrule Heisers. It's a tongue twister for me. Says he got burned by K1 soft really bad. Yeah, that
Yep.
looks amazing when you first do it, but that soft K1 just poof.
Yeah. Yep.
That's another detectives that I want to do is With discs that fade fast like that, have it fade, see how long it takes for it to fade to a certain point, then re-dye it to see if it fades as fast.
Yeah. When it's got that, like, base layer of dye in it already?
Yeah.
Is it gonna act any different?
And Dye Man said, my first few Floetrolls were on K1 soft, 10-10 for a week. After a month, it was bleeding through the back. That's crazy.
Mhm. It is
Hmm.
crazy.
It would be also interesting to know, which I know we'll probably never know, like what blend of plastic those are and figure out why that blend. Now, figure out what the blend is, you know, what blend lasts longest and what blends fade faster. I wonder,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
I feel like MVP is pretty good. I do think the white ESP is different than the other ESP, but both of them fade pretty fast.
Yeah, it's I should ask Jesse from Trash Panda because he might have a better idea. Um, but all most discs are made from like the type of TPU plastic. I'm just curious of the specific blends of why it does what it does.
Yeah.
Let's see, Hand Dye Man said, anyone try a candle warmer to heat up acetone/DA mix for painting?
That's what this is right here. Wait. Yeah, right there. That's the candle warmer. I
Can't
use
see.
it for the black every time.
Hmm.
Now Xander got that for me for Christmas,
Ah.
and I use it all the time.
I use my dehydrator to warm up my black when I do the stencils.
Mhm.
My DA mixture specifically. If you do warm it up that way, just make sure you crack the lid open a little bit so you,
Definitely.
you don't have a dye explosion.
Don't want that.
Yeah.
You really don't want that.
But heat is your friend with dyeing for it to accept faster.
Yeah. So I really wanna get one of my dyes into a pro's hand and be like, 'cause I've heard a lot of pros kinda saying like, "Oh, dyes change the flight," but I
Mhm,
don't really use heat on any part of my disc, and I wonder if, like, that's kind of a plus, you know?
mhm.
Like, "Oh, it's not gonna change the flight because it's not heated." I don't know.
Yeah, that's another detectives episode that I wanna do is, does dyeing change the flight characteristics?
I feel like you have to have a pretty good disc golfer to notice.
I should, ask that one guy that built the robot for Simon.
I was gonna say my husband, but
Yeah.
he's a pretty good disc golfer. Oh, I wanted to add some
Eh.
yellow down here.
But I do believe heat does change the flight characteristics. Why it's a tongue twister. For example, like if you're doing hot dipping and you have I did a on-scientific small test of two discs of the same mold plastic, basically the same thing, and it was really a domier disc. Then did like a hot dip and one that was just didn't use any heat at all. The one that had the hot dip, the dome basically was less domey, so it changed the parting line, which made the disc more stable.
I can see that.
Yeah. If we could, handy hand dye man said, if we could just dye every disc in the bag of every frolfer.
All the frolfers.
Yes.
You got a little, like, muddy on the nose. I might just go over it with orange to cover that.
Mm.
'Cause that ye like I was saying with that yellow,
Mm.
it's a little bit muddy there. I might just orange it up, then you won't notice. I don't know if you guys can see.
It's hard to tell on my end. Like, you would never notice, like, unless you pointed it out.
Well, I notice it though.
All right. We got about 5 more minutes left of this stream. Then we're gonna hang up and do the member only stream.
We're gonna peace out on ya.
Yeah.
Anybody have any last questions they wanna get in?
Yeah, now's your time, or forever hold your peace, or just become a member and join the member only stream. We have
Hey,
the past few ones have been very, very educational.
absolutely.
Yeah. What mix is that?
This is what used to be called bright red, which is now pinkish red.
Uh-huh.
It's basically pink and DA, like a
Huh.
nice like pastel pink,
Hmm.
which is very useful. I sat on it for a while, like, oh, it's not red. It's supposed to be red. And then I was like, oh, it's pink. Accept it as that. And then
Mhm.
I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I might add some of that in the mouth since I already have that weeded. Yeah, if you want to see the final shadings, you gotta be in the members only. See the depth it adds. We'll post like a final picture though, and you'll see it when it's all done.
I'm excited. I want to see it. Am I a member?
I'll send you a pic, Dave.
Oh, this is looking really cool. Definitely like the colors.
Yeah, it's fun. I really wanted to just be wild and free with it, add lots of colors, and we really got a lot done in an hour. But
Yeah.
I'll spend another hour or two adding like the details and finishing it up.
Yeah, I'm digging the I would have never thought to put blue and green together like that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a nice contrast highlight.
Eh,
That's the
nice.
thing about dyeing discs is you got to find ways to make it bright. So I just like shade with other colors instead of like black or gray.
Mhm. I was just trying to think of yeah, I like bright colors, especially UV reactive stuff, because
Mhm.
more easily found fiable findable.
Yes.
Hi, Rural Heisers says, any insight on the technique used by optic dyes trying to crack the code?
Good luck. It's a
Yes.
secret.
I Do you know
They
the
don't tell
secret?
anybody.
I was gonna say I don't know the secret, but from what I heard is that that technique uses a lot of material. That's the
Yeah.
only thing that I heard about it. But yeah,
It looks awesome. Well, that's for sure.
I feel like it's I don't know, the closest medium that I could think of is like Floetrol. Um,
Yeah.
but somehow to get that
It's very
blending,
liquidy.
yeah. Mm,
Definitely seems like a pour. Yeah, I don't even know. I was gonna say some of them look like poor methods, but some of them really don't.
mm. The other person that's been on the topic a lot is Screwy Dye Jobs,
Yeah.
trying to crack his code.
Yep. I think it's airbrush.
I don't think so.
I do.
I, I see if I can. So have one of his discs in person.
Yeah. The fish. Yeah.
Yes, but I don't.
Well, there's a lot of different sprayers and stuff. Like you can get different nozzles, so it's like really fine or really like chunky. I mean, it could be yeah, who knows? Who knows? Because I never would have thought Happy Tree Dyes is doing what he's doing to make his discs. Have you ever watched him dye a disc?
Happy Little Accidents.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Not Happy Tree. Happy
Hmm.
Little Accidents. I agree. Airbrush.
I'm gonna yank it out of him and
I
find
think
out.
it's chill.
I think
That'd be the
it's
opposite of what you want.
the only thing that he says is it takes him a lot of time. So that's
Who
why
says that?
Screwy or
Yeah.
Dirk. Um, so
So
that's what
you don't think it's airbrush then, because it wouldn't take that long
mhm. I think
if it
it's
was
like
airbrush.
I think it's kind of what you do, but with a less potent solution.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because even like looking at the black stencil, like you don't see any smearing of that black. like
Yeah.
whatsoever. And like on this disc, he would have to mask off so many parts because you have the background, you have the fins, you have the fish. So yeah,
Yeah. I don't know, but he doesn't wanna tell us.
which is fine,
Yeah, absolutely.
bastard.
He knows he's got something good.
Yes. All right. Well, that concludes the Dye-a-Thon for February, the first ever one where Brittany dyes a disc, and I get to
Well,
sit back and relax and
you
enjoy the
enjoy a
show.
break, Dave.
Yes. So yeah. Let's see, the Dye-a-Thon. Yeah. So if you want to enter the Dye-a-Thon, you can. It's not a contest, but if you submit your disc to the website, you'll be entered into a random drawing to win something, which I believe it is a white disc. But regardless, would still like to see what you guys create, or if you create anything that is specific to Valentine's with the theme "Love is in the air." So anything that is lovable, like,
Yeah, and we talk about those, do we look at them a little bit
mhm,
for the roundtable review?
yep,
Yeah. So we'll get to see your awesome work.
yes. So yeah. Until next time, guys.